I'm so excited to tell you about our partner, Isomer Skincare Laboratories. You guys, rooted in science and integrity, in the best ingredients and best delivery systems. Unlike any other skincare on the market, for over 30 years, they've been giving you the real science. So this isn't trend. This isn't the hot ingredient of the day on TikTok. This is 30 years of solving your skincare problems. So we're partnering with them today. Happy 20, HAPPY20 gets you 20% off your order. You have free shipping and handling at $100 or more, and they have a solution for every problem. Mature, aging skin, they've got you covered. Sinking, sagging skin, they've got you covered. You can take a really easy test on isomers.ca. And it will recommend exactly what you need for your skincare needs. Or you can go in there and find some of their icons like the Copper P serum. They've got an amazing pure hyaluronic acid, nothing but hyaluronic acid. Their Fast Lift Eye Serum is an industry icon. That's all available at their website. You go to isomers.ca. You use the code HAPPY20. Please use that so they know that we sent you. You get 20% off your order. You'll get free shipping and handling at $100 or more. And if you don't know where to start, take that quiz. It will tell you exactly what to do. Happy 20 at isomers.ca. So happy you're here.
I'm so happy you're here.
Hi.
Welcome back. You just had a little vacation.
Well, I took a vacation about a week and a half ago. It was wonderful. Got some sunshine, got some time with my girls.
Oh, nice.
From kindergarten.
Do you love this? I love that Erin is a people collector.
I can't help it.
Kindergarten people, you got your high school people, your college people.
I literally feel like I won the lottery because in 1984, when I went to Mrs. Whipkey's afternoon half-day kindergarten, I slowly but surely met just the most wonderful girls in the world.
Now, here, okay, America, listener, viewer, do you suppose there's one thing in common? Do you suppose?
Guess where I learned it from? Them. They're the coolest chicks.
What a great, to be grateful for your buddies.
Well, also clearly if they've been friends with me for 40 plus years, they're also very patient. They're also very compassionate. They are also very kind. So yeah, we went on a little girls weekend and now I want to get you and the girls away for a weekend too. I think it'd be really great. It was like a health and wellness weekend until it hit like 7 p.m. and then it was Mama needs a drink weekend.
You got a tox to detox.
Yes. So it was really fun. And but I missed you. How was your weekend?
It was super fun. I'm so happy you're back. We've had a really interesting jag on So Happy You're Here. We've had.
Well, thank you so much. Everybody loved Patrick. And I was happy to hear that you guys all loved our interview with Patrick because yes, we all met through home shopping, but home shopping has so many different degrees to many different, facets of life.
Yes.
Like laundry. Who knew it was so fun?
One of the comments said, I didn't know there was a laundry community, but count me in.
Well, you didn't know either, but I mentioned it. There's a laundry community. And then, of course, having Melissa Miner share her journey, share her history in home shopping, even though we had basically the same job. Isn't it funny? Like the different paths on how you got there, the different histories you have, the different takes you have on everything.
Yeah. And I love, you are a great storyteller. She's a great storyteller. That little bit of Southern drawl.
Just a little bit comes out.
And hey, how about JD making a surprise appearance?
That's right.
That was fun.
And speaking of a Southern drawl, it is public knowledge. I'm sure you've all seen, but if you haven't, our dear friend Fatima Kachi is now a host at JTV.
Yay.
And so listen, this industry is pretty small, pretty tight, and we are here to celebrate our friends. So if you haven't yet caught one of her shows, I know she started just this past week.
Yeah.
Please make sure you're tuning in to Fatima on JTV.
So excited.
We're there to support her and cheer her on.
Oh my gosh, she did her headshots. Who is more beautiful than a photographed Fatima Kachi?
I've told her this to her face, so I'm not speaking out of turn.
Yeah.
Fatima's drop dead gorgeous.
Literally hard to stand next to.
Can't have a bad picture.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why if you notice in group shots, I try to stay far away from her.
Oh no.
I want to get near like the drunk man at the end of the bar. It makes me look real spry and young. Okay. I'm not standing next to Fatima in a picture.
No,
not at all.
That's self-preservation.
Have you seen her brother?
Oh, now Fatima, I say this with the love of Jesus in my heart. I really do. He is so flippin' hot.
I know.
But it's like a male version of her. So as beautiful as she is, the same bone structure, but in a hottie patati.
And he's in the film and TV industry, right? In Atlanta.
He works with
Tyler Perry.
Yes.
Yes.
Why are we whispering?
I don't know. If you haven't had a chance to meet Fatima's siblings, I'm telling you something.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Listen, we're all happily married. We're all mothers of
I have
boys
eyes in my head.
Yeah, exactly. But we have vision. And for the most part, it works. And I met him in real life. And I'm telling you, it was not the camera angle. It is just, those are beautiful people.
Really beautiful
people. And great news. I haven't met her brother, but I'm just assuming he's the same as Fatima, even more beautiful.
Charming. Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, sweet and beautiful. So those are the updates. But listen, we told you we were going to be bringing guests.
Yes.
And as much as we love to just visit with the two of us and all of you, when the guest schedules permit, we got to take it on.
Yeah,
so
let's get after it.
We're going to do our third guest in a row this week.
Now, he was number one on my list, on my short list.
And he was one of the most requested when we reached out and said, hey, send us a DM, send us a note. Who do you want to hear from?
Ladies and gentlemen,
none other than Sam Saboura.
We're the luckiest girls in the world. That's all there is to it.
If you don't know who Sam Saboura is, you're still going to love this podcast because he is a celebrity stylist. He's been in the LA scene for many, many, many years. He has an incredible clientele. We got to work with him for a ton of time at our former network, and he was one of the most beloved fashion experts.
Amazing.
But he's also a really funny guy and a fun friend, and a lot like Patrick, he has a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, he does.
Know?
Lots of irons in the fire. We'll find out what he's doing. You know, he's still, of course, with Diane Gilman and DG2 at HSN.
Yes.
He has a really funny little gig with Chick-fil-A. I don't know if he wants to
I didn't know that. Are you serious?
So we're going to get to the bottom. We're going to give you a little history. If you don't already know him, stay tuned, because really to know him is to love him.
And he is the father of Mr. Incredible, one of the only cats I've ever truly enjoyed. What?
I'm not a cat person.
But Mr. Incredible's cute.
Yeah.
Laura Duffick and Sam Saboura have cute cats.
Yeah, because they are cat people. That's true. They have warmed me to cats.
And they're big and fluffy. And I feel like
Do you remember when he used to walk out in front of the Zoom call? Maybe we'll get a
Mr. Incredible sighting.
Fingers crossed.
We'll probably have to pay him extra, but all right.
Yeah.
Mr. Incredible is
a day rate and a per diem for Mr. Incredible.
We're going to get into our interview with Sam Saboura. Thank you so much for being here. So happy that you are all here with us. We hope you enjoy.
So
friends
happy you're
and
here.
Family, put your hands together. We're so happy you're all here. But the one, the only, the most requested guest, when we put the alarms out there, who do you want to see? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Sam Saboura. The crowd goes wild.
Hi, guys. It's like a return to Oz. And you were there. You were there.
You were there the whole time.
You were there, and we were all there for many hours. And I'm wearing green, so
Yes.
I'm going to be the Wizard of Oz today
For the Emerald
I love
City.
you guys.
You
and
look
I'm very excited.
like $1 million, Sam
You sure
Saboura.
do.
Really.
You look fantastic.
Well, there's about 45 lights in front of me, and there's a nice amount of makeup on, and I didn't have any wine last night, so there's many reasons, but none of it is for real. So it's all smoke and mirrors, and thank you. I'll take it.
Thank you for
look
doing
fabulous. We are so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. It feels like the gang is getting back together. Like I feel like I'm living in 2016 right now, all over again. So friends, if you haven't met Sam before, we got to work with him at the network for many, many years. And he was one of the most beloved, if not the most beloved, but I don't want to offend anybody, fashion guests we've ever had. So we got a lot of time on television together.
Yes.
But you have so much more than a home shopping background. So whether you've seen Sam on the network with us before or not, you're going to love this interview with him. But Sam, you got to tell all the ladies kind of your background in fashion before we dive into home shopping.
How much time do you have?
As much time as you like, honey.
I'll give you the short version. When I was a kid, I used to when my mom was doing her makeup, I would sit on the toilet, not on the toilet, but the toilet was closed.
We got it.
I would watch her and I would pick out shoes. And so for me, this was always a thing. And I worked in retail for a long time. So that's kind of where the sales came from. And I loved interacting with people and selling. And, part of it was the kill of selling. I'll be honest with you. I loved the success and the closure of a sale. I don't know why that was appealing to me, but it was also obviously the fashion and the fun and the energy and the people, and it's creative. I feel like we all are creatives in a different kind of branch. So I worked in retail for a long time, and I also have a big theater background. So this is basically the two worlds coming together for me to be able to be on TV and perform, and also to sell and also talk about fashion, which are all things I love. And gosh, I don't even know where to begin. But
wait, when did Extreme Makeover come in? What years are those?
That was random. So I worked at Fred Siegel for a really long time, where I was a personal shopper. And I worked with like every celebrity in the world, and it was amazing. And I was there for most of my 20s, and that's kind of where I really learned about like high fashion, and interacted with all these amazing people, and where I kind of started really styling people. And then I was randomly asked to go do a TV show for NBC in Hawaii. So I went away for a month. I took a month off, went and did this TV show. I'd never styled a TV show. I'd done commercials and different things like that, but did this TV show, lived my best life, and was like, do I like quit my job and start doing this, or what do I do? And I got a random email or phone call. I don't even know if there was email, a random phone call from someone saying, they're looking for someone to take over on Extreme Makeover, which had only done a few episodes as like a test, and I'd seen them. And this was the surgery show for all of you guys. And I ended up submitting my stuff from Hawaii. Long story short, I got that job. I jumped on television having no idea what I was doing. We were at 18 million viewers on a Wednesday night, which is amazing. So awesome. I got to write a book. I got to do TV. So since then, in 2003, I've been doing television in some capacity. And I still style, like in real life. I still schlep and carry bags. It's not glamorous. And then home shopping, there were a couple little instances. I was first asked to do my own line on HSN.
That's right.
Did that for a couple of years. And then there was a lot of chaos there because Mindy Grossman had taken over, and she was I'll be honest with you, using a lot of her friends as like,
sure,
lines and guests and stuff like that. So when it came time to, see they had too many people, I think 11 people started with me. My numbers were good, and I was just starting to like peak and do really well. And then they're like, well, we're going to see if we can put you into faux leathers. And I was like, okay. So then we started doing faux leathers, and then like, it was really weird. Long story short, they ended up bringing me to Shop NBC and to do my line at Shop NBC, which I did for a hot second. And then that was like slow. And they're like, we got to figure out what we're going to do with you. And then randomly I get a phone call from the head of One World to see if I would come in and represent the brand that, one of their employees was actually selling on air. And the rest is history. And I was there for 8 years, I think, almost 8 years.
That's crazy.
What was her name? Wait, why can't I think of her name?
I can't either.
Oh my gosh. Starts with an A.
Oh gosh.
Who was
I can see her. Ashley.
Yes.
Ashley. Oh my God. Okay. So you're working in retail. You go into Extreme Makeover. You also had success with Say Yes to the Dress, right?
Yeah. Something Borrowed, Something New was a wedding show for TLC. I did a show with like Real Simple on TLC. I was on E. I was on Style Network. I was on Lifetime. And I was also like a lot of the talking heads on E. We used to do all those like style things.
Did you ever do Fashion Police?
Oh yeah, I did. I worked with Joan. So I did Fashion Police when who was hosting it? Kimora was hosting it. Remember?
Wow, yes.
And then Debbie Matenopoulos, the OG Fashion Police.
Yes.
And then Debbie Matenopoulos took over, and I did Fashion Police with Debbie. And then when Joan came on, I don't think I did it. I did like clip stuff for them. And then Joan went to TV Guide, and I did Fashion whatever with her and Melissa at TV Guide.
Unreal.
And then I didn't do it when she went back. I was up for it, and then George Katsiopoulos got it. We're like both Mediterranean little men, and he got it, which was fun. And he was great, and I love George. And we always used to see each other at auditions, so it was fun. But yeah, one of the highlights of my career was working with Joan Rivers. I'd grown up watching her, and that was like next level.
Wait, don't you miss her in the fashion scene?
Yes.
I miss her so much.
Rawness and candidness. And by the way, she was very well versed on all things fashion. So when the camera was off, not only was she very warm and generous and funny, but she was very knowledgeable. So like if I would bring up like a vintage designer, the cameras would cut and she'd be like, was that really Galanos? Like, like she knew her shit.
Yeah.
And it was, it was not an act. And she was amazing. And Melissa's amazing. I talked to Melissa like probably a year ago.
You have to choose Becky and I or Joan and Melissa. Be careful.
You two. It's 2025. Dust it off.
You got to dance with the girl that brought you.
She's Joan, I'm Melissa.
We are all children of the same era. I think I'm a little older than you guys, but we're all kind of under the same umbrella.
Totally.
So yes, I'm here. I'm here for it.
There's this huge background in television and in styling. And I think a lot of people who aren't well versed in home shopping, don't always put the two and two together. But do you feel like that totally prepared you for the wild world of home shopping?
It is fulfilling. Erin and I were talking before we started this. It is fulfilling in a different way.
Yes.
To go live. People always ask us, like, are you scripted? I'm like, no, we're talking out our ass. Like, we're talking. Am I allowed to swear?
You can swear all the time. Yes. Anything you like.
Literally, I mean, can you imagine Erin and Becky being on air for hours and hours and hours a day, you're creating your own dialogue and content and script, and we prepare a little bit, but the best stuff is really coming out of us, right? So for me, and I think all of us are creative and performative in some way. We're probably all some kind of theater geek or fashion geek or something like that. So to me, it's the best of both worlds. Like, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't doing this. And I would probably be doing more TV, but to me, this is almost more satisfying than doing TV.
Yeah.
Because it's there and it's gone, right?
Yes.
Like it doesn't live on television. You're not like, you could go back and watch something, but it's like, it's very of the moment.
Yeah.
It's very, it's very dependent on our mood and our energy level and how we're feeling. You know what I mean? Like,
Truth.
we
You're
can
telling
really
us.
be loco on air and say some crazy stuff, or we can be very focused and very professional and excellent. But for me, it's the perfect mix. And if I wasn't doing this, I don't know what I would do. I'd have to go back to doing more TV, which is exhausting. So
did you ever see the interview that Jane, what's her name from Glee?
Oh yeah,
the gym teacher. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
How old are we all? You're the youngest, Erin, right?
I'm the youngest, but I don't know what's going
Oh my gosh,
on.
I can see her.
I don't either. I need
It'll
some
come to us.
vitamins.
It'll come to us.
But the gym teacher in
Jane Lynch.
Jane Lynch, you got it. Did you ever see her interview, how she talked about how her stint in home shopping was the best improv training she ever had and the most difficult job she ever had?
And it was with Kendi, by the way.
Yeah, and she references Kendi. Yes.
That's hilarious.
She talks about how in all of her TV, she was like, home shopping was the most difficult, the best improv. And to your point, it's kind of hard to recreate that dopamine hit that you get, that like adrenaline rush, because there is no safety guard. Like, you are out there just as vulnerable as can be. And it's hard to recreate that.
It's so much fun. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, Sam, the girls love you. And I think there's something, you use the word performative, but I think the reason the girls love you so much is because you're so real.
Yes.
You've got that like Midwestern sensibility, even though you're LA boy.
That's a compliment. Okay.
Well, yeah, no,
Midwest is the best, buddy.
The northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
So right on the border of Scotty, Wisconsin. And yeah, I mean, listen, I had to learn to let go a little bit, because I feel like in the beginning, I felt like I had to be a certain way and be very prepared and professional. Now my best moments are when I'm completely off the wall, crazy. And I think we all kind of learned that together. Like, we all, I would be as loose as like Erin would allow me to be, right? Like, or as Becky would, like, if Becky crossed the line, then I'd cross the line like a couple of steps. Like, so I feel like you're kind of like, you're in a dance with whoever you're working with, right? And certain hosts are like, I'll say it, robotic. They're robots. They can like churn out an hour of television and you don't even know what's happening. They're like, da, 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 da. And then certain hosts have no idea what the hell they're doing. Wendy Russo. And you are like totally, Wendy Russo used to give me so much shit, you guys, that by the time Wendy and I had been on air for a long time, it was like playing ping pong of like, who's going to jab the other one. And in a hilarious way, I adore Wendy Russo, one of the funniest people, but she would try and catch me and I would just give it right back to her. And I don't think she was used to that. So like Wendy and I had the most hilarious kind of like tete-a-tete. And listen, every host is a different juju, and every host is like, Melissa's like gooey, lovey, I love da, 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 and like Kendi is very professional, and it's so funny, and like the vibes are all different with everyone. So there's nothing like this job. There's nothing like working in
it's
TV.
So true.
As a host who had the honor of working with both of you, though, the greatest guests are the ones who can just take the energy from the host and understand it. Because there's nothing worse than when a guest wants to fight the energy. You know what I'm saying? And that's really difficult. Yeah. But you got to earn your chops to be able to do that too. And you clearly earned that by knowing what you were talking about. When you really understand fashion and you understand the way clothes fit and cut and fabric, then you can have fun like that, because you're not staring at a card. Don't you think?
Very true. Like, you have to walk the walk and talk the talk. Otherwise, you can't take the microphone. Like, we joke about like people who take the mic and then say nothing. Like, I'm like, she just spent like 11 minutes saying nothing. And I'm like, I could have wrapped that up for you in a couple of minutes. So yes, that is absolutely accurate.
Okay. So obviously we all know that you went to HSN to work with DG2, Diane Gilman. I've heard nothing but incredible things from the viewers, from the, the executives behind the scenes, and how great you're doing with DG2. And we're going to get into that. But we got to make a pit stop first at our former network. Whatever you guys want to call it, Value Vision, Shop NBC,
Evine.
Shop HQ, Evine, Shop HQ again. We call it the network.
Yeah, the
kind
artist
of like
formerly known.
The artist formerly known as Prince. So we got to take a little tour, a little history tour. How many years were you there? 8 years?
8 years, starting with my own little jam and then coming into One World.
Yes.
So over that, I think it was 8 years total. I loved it. I was like, Minneapolis became like a second home.
Yes.
You guys became a second family. There was an intimacy, I think, at Evine or Shop HQ. When I started with Shop NBC, believe it or not.
Same.
So there was an intimacy there. And, what was funny when I went to HSN, and we'll talk about it, I kind of was like, I expected something. I'd been there before, but I expected it to be this like big, professional, grandiose thing. And it is big, and it is, huge and crazy. And of course it's professional, but it lacked the warmth and intimacy at first that I kind of like left with you guys.
Right.
So it took me a minute to kind of like shift and adjust, but everyone there is so great. And they've also become my third family now. Right. but listen, being there was fun. It was something I always looked forward to. It was hilarious. The things you guys didn't see were the real, like the moments you didn't see are the moments that are so priceless. And, we were all in the same boat, even though the hosts were like above us. So we were all like in the same boat, whether it was floating or sinking. We were there.
Yes.
And most of the time it was floating, and it was a lot of fun.
Did you ever expect the reaction that you got from the One World customer? Because that became
that was
just
magic.
as much as a family. I mean, Sam, I had never seen. Actually, your relationship with One World really inspired the way I ran Wake Up and Style, because it was more than clothes. It was so much more than clothes.
Oh yeah, you were their personal stylist.
I had to fall in love with what I was selling and what I was doing, right? Like for me is like big, crazy, colorful print, like my style. It's not, but I fell in love with the brand, and I fell in love with the customer, and I fell in love with the fabric, and I fell in love with the relationship. Yeah. And I think it never stopped once I kind of dug into it. And also being let loose, it's like letting a lion out of a cage, because I'm nuts, and we're all a little bit nuts.
We know.
So
and very Leo, by the way.
Yes, and very Leo, very bossy. Being let loose like that is like was priceless, right? Because you kind of just got like, they were like, go do it, go do it. And we did it. And it wasn't about me. It was about the models. It was about you guys. It was about, Becky being in the peripheral of that brand really from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think, and Aaron, all the hosts, like we all kind of like came together and made that into like such a thing. And, I love it. I miss it. This is a true story. I was working on a game show 4 days ago, and one of the women that was with this family with their kid, like taking care of their little baby, was wearing a One World top. And I don't think I've seen in person a One World top in a long time. And I was like, oh my God. I was like shocked. And I was like, is that One World? She's like, yeah, I love this brand. About it. I was laughing. So listen, that was a moment. And there were, it had its highs and lows. But it was really fun, and it was really incredible to be part of the magic of the success of Wake Up and Style, the success of One World. Like all of that was just, it was a moment, right? It was like, you can't repeat those moments.
It's like lightning in a bottle. We talked about that the other day.
Lightning in a bottle.
Or the travel. Think about the cruises going down to Florida.
Yes, that lightning in a bottle is something, listen, we're not here to air dirty laundry, but I think one of the mistakes our former network did in the last few leadership teams is not understanding like what you were just talking about, Sam, or how you say it's lightning in a bottle. Sometimes you can't create it. It's luck, it's timing. And it's like just the perfect timing that you came on the scene and the specific host group that was there.
And the buyers, Jordan.
Oh my gosh. Jordan buying One World was so good. We were talking
to. It was a great time.
It was. Yeah. Remember your anniversaries in June? I mean, they could do no wrong. So we would have the anniversaries of when One World came to the network. It was always in June, and One World was great all year round. But I think they really thrived in the summer months with this fabric,
a maxi dress from One World in the summer. Come on,
us hosts behind the scenes. What would you say?
Do you guys remember when we would sell the same dress for like 3 years?
Yeah.
This is the one thing that was killing me. I was like, are we getting this? So they would like reorder. And what's funny is DG2, and we'll talk about this, is the exact opposite. They will not repeat.
Ooh, I love that.
For me, I was used to, I'm like, how long are we going to sell this effing dress? Like we've been selling this dress for 3 years. And guess what? It would always sell. But I would be like, is there not like a new, like, can we not like shake it up a little bit? We did. Of course we did. And we had a lot of new stuff. But you just remember, I'm like, I could do this. Speaking of like computer programming, I could just push start and be like, okay, let's talk about this dress because I've been talking about it for 4 years.
That's
now.
right.
But you guys, everyone loved it.
There was still one woman left out there in America that didn't have it.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, buddy. But how about this? That dress that sat in samples for 4 years, we were the ladies putting that same thing back on over.
Oh.
We were marinating in those, honey. Marinating in those. Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And hats off to you guys.
Yeah.
You always made it seem new and different to me. You always had a new way to style it, a new way to wear it.
Well, and you are the
colors and
master.
stuff,
You are the master of this. You could sell the same thing and it sounded different every time you'd present it. Like that was always my challenge was, okay, keep it fresh. You got to keep it fresh. And you taught me that.
The evolution
It's
of fashion.
hard.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's all about, it's kind of what I said to you guys. We have to re-fall in love. It's like dating your spouse for like 20 years
Yes.
and then you have to re-fall in love with them every day. So imagine Erin or Becky presenting multiple brands and multiple lines. You have to re-find the flame and the juju every single time.
true.
You know how hard that is? It's like literally going on 1,000 dates a week and like you have to like be cute, right? And be into it. And then also you have to like fall in love with them and maybe marry them, right?
Yeah.
In a day. So that's what it's like in home shopping. If you are not, I always used to say this, like you can see through the veil, right? Like if someone's not into something, and listen, we don't love everything. How can you love everything?
It's not
You'd be
possible.
totally ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But like you have to find the love. You have to find what you love. So I think that was kind of like I don't know. Listen, and half of it, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We just did it, right? Like we just did it. Like we're on live TV. Someone had the audacity to give us the keys to the car, and we just did it.
And we
Yes.
barely even buckled. We just went for it.
It was 3 a.m. some of the times. I mean,
Yes.
we were 24 hours a day.
When
back
we
then.
met, we were doing overnights. We were sleeping on couches together.
Awful.
And we would, your big visits, they would kick off with Wendy at 10 p.m. at night.
Yep.
Go
Yeah.
24
Oh,
hours,
God.
kill with me at 8 p.m. And by that time, you guys are delirious and I'm
Yes.
running all over. I mean, it's a wild ride. But I'll tell you, Sam, for your anniversary shows in June, I remember even being a newer host. And I remember we all got along just fine. And you're closer with others than you are. But I remember your anniversary shows would come up and people would say, I want his anniversary show because
Oh,
they
yeah.
knew it was going to be huge. They knew it was going to be fun. I remember people like waiting at the scheduler's door, like,
How fun.
am I going to get Sam's anniversary show?
Oh, yeah.
Am I going to be there for the one? And am I going to get Sam?
That's so
no
true.
offense to Ashley, no offense, but I'm going to get
That's
Sam,
so
right?
funny.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what's so weird about the COVID years is that you couldn't come
Do you remember COVID? We had a global pandemic.
Of
remember the
course.
time?
Oh my
Okay.
God. I was there. Remember the cruise? So COVID started
Yes.
when we were getting on the cruise, and I was sick, and Melissa was sick. Like, well, I was like, I feel like, do I have COVID? I was like sitting in the waiting room of the cruise thing, like before we got on the ship, and I'm like coughing, and I'm like, do I have COVID? Nobody knew anything about anything at
No.
that point. We didn't know what it was. And I sanitized and bleached my room. Like it was a lot. Right. And I remember they were mad because I wouldn't wear color. And they're like, can you put on something light? Like, I'm like, it's freezing. Leave me alone. Like, whatever. Anyway. So, but yes, I remember that it was like right then. And then we got off of that ship and then we kind of like went into COVID. Right.
Yeah, we did.
There was one other visit.
Yes, I went directly from that cruise to Atlanta to meet Shaquille O'Neal for our
God,
cooking
that's
show. Remember
right.
that
That's
COVID killed our
right.
cooking show? But yes, and when we got off in that port, Sam, remember there was rumors that port had been infected.
Well, there
and
was
there was
other
another
ships.
cruise ship
Yes.
that wasn't allowed
Yes.
to deport
Yes.
or deplane or whatever they do on a cruise ship.
If you had to stay out there. Oh, Sam, by the way, Kimberly Wells is coming off her year-long cruise and we're going to interview. She's our next interview.
She's been on the same cruise for a year.
She did the 365-day cruise,
Around
honey.
I don't
She
know
was
how
the
that
director
woman
of
does
it.
it.
Isn't that
I don't know
amazing?
how that. I mean, I see her on social media constantly. We message on Instagram. I don't know how she can do that because those cabins are tiny. I mean, she's living her best life.
She's
though.
a boss
She seems
lady.
to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, if you had to say like what your favorite memory or your favorite moments of working at the network formerly known as Evine Shop HQ, Shop NBC Value Vision, what would it be?
how do you pin it down? The couple of moments that were hilarious where I remember going off air and Becky was coming on to sell the velour tracksuits, and it was like 1 a.m, and I was delirious, like exhausted. And what was the brand with the velour suits with the
Glitterscape, honey?
It was Glitterscape.
Glitterscape,
So
yes.
I went off air and I put on a royal blue Glitterscape velour matching suit with the silver crystals, and I jogged through Becky's live show at like 1:30 in the morning. And the other thing I'm going to tell you, which is Becky's going to die laughing right now, it is crazy. It was my last show and I was on Skype from home, and it was Lynn and Becky were like on air, and we were like passing the baton to Becky, and I had to pee really bad. So I left. Do you remember this? Yes. So I left to go, and I had my earbuds in, and I left to go to the bathroom while they were like talking.
Also a microphone.
Yes, which is also a microphone, which I didn't know. And I was like in the bathroom having like an Austin Powers 90-minute like 48-year-old man like came out of cryo sleep pee, and I could hear them laughing in my ear, and I'm like, what's going on? Because I could hear the live feed. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, there's no way in hell they can hear me right now.
Yes, we
and
can.
I don't think it was on television, but I think it was in their ear.
Yes.
Right? Is that what was happening?
Yes, exactly.
And they were like, it was like when they break up on Saturday Night Live, where they were just laughing and trying to sell and talk. And I was like, what is going on? And I came back and I felt like the kid who like didn't know that someone was like looking through the peephole. But anyway, that was embarrassing. And that was like my last memory. And thank God it wasn't on air.
No. And who knows? Maybe some homes got it. Why?
Yes.
Can I ask you this? Why did you leave Shop HQ?
Ooh.
What happened?
So this is a very funny story. It was COVID. It was like high COVID. There were a lot of changes happening, and there was a little bit of uncertainty, and I felt like, we all had talked internally, like, what's going on is this, that we would joke about it, but it was still, the ship was running and things were going and things were popular and we were fine. But it was COVID, and I'd been home for like a year, sitting in my office, selling out of my office. And I remember walking through the living room, and my partner was teaching from the living room on Skype. He's a teacher and an administrator. So I walked through, and he had finished, and I was doing something, and he like looked at me, and this is not a conversation we ever have, like, whatever. He looked at me and he's like, I feel like you've plateaued. And I was like,
how dare he?
Excuse me? And it was like someone took a machine gun,
but he nailed it.
Shot me full of holes, and I was like, and it smacked me across the face. I was probably like pre-midlife crisis. I don't know how old I was. I wasn't 50 yet, but I was probably like in a pre-midlife crisis at this time. And he's like, I feel like you plateaued, and I was like, excuse me? First I was offended, then I was wounded, then I like had a little reality check, and then I was like, have I plateaued? And it was very real for me, very raw for me. And not a week later, one of my producer friends that produced my wedding show, created my wedding show, when we create shows together for TV, she texted me and she sent me this little thing. And it's like, HSN is looking for a style expert or something, or a stylist for a long-standing brand. I didn't know what it was. I don't know what. And I was like, oh, that's so random. I was just having this conversation with my partner about this. And I'm like, okay, let me send it to my manager. And my manager's like, oh, I know this guy who's casting this. Yeah. She's like, let me get into it and see what it is. I had no idea it was DG2. And the rest happened very quickly. So they sent it in. They asked me to put myself on tape. I recorded something from home. And I remember it was very busy, and Diane hated my background. So I guess Diane looked at the tapes and stuff like that. She hated but the set, she thought my set was very busy. Diane was very opinionated and very, rigid about stuff. And so I sent that in, and then like a few days later, they're like, we're going to put you on tape. So everything happened within 7 days.
Wow.
Like, it was like probably 7 to 10 days or less. And I was like, did that. And then Sarah Anderson was my audition.
Yes.
So that was weird. And so, I learned about that. And then I found out in between that it was Diane Gilman, which I'd been watching. Like, she would be in the background. Like, I'd put it on, like, forever. I put on Home Shopping, like, as my, like, news, in the background.
Totally.
And so I had watched her for a decade, and, she was legendary. So it was very intimidating. They did not mince words. They're like, this is the biggest fashion brand on the network. This is like, a big chunk of HSN's fashion business. This cannot fail. You're inheriting a lot of, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
And they basically told me, like, first and foremost, I was going to come in, I guess I came in July, and I think Diane was going to go off air that year.
Yeah.
And then she decided once they found someone, because I think they found someone quickly and she wasn't expecting it, she wanted to stay on for another year.
Oh.
So she stayed on for another year. I was supposed to take over and like she was going to be gone like in that November or something. And they tried to transition it slowly. So Siobhan was still on air. I was still on air. Diane was still on air. And, it kind of fell together quickly, but in the peripheral, there was a lot of like pressure. This is a, $98 million brand,
It's big time.
for HSN. So there was a lot of pressure, and I kind of like let it in, but I didn't let it in. I was like, I'm not going to think about any of that. But every time I would have a show, I would freak out about like, how are my numbers?
Totally.
At the beginning. And then I kind of just did that thing where you let it all wash over you. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's going to be what it is.
I got this.
And I know what I'm doing. And we do this all day long. Like, it's just doing the same thing with a different brand in a different place.
But to get a new challenge, like if you were in that plateau mode, boy, what a way to downshift into a new challenge.
Definitely.
I needed it, and I needed it for my sense of self, and I think my sense of worth. Like I needed to know that I could do it. It was hard to leave, and it was scary to leave. And I remember having dinner with you guys on one of the last times I was there, and I was kind of freaking out a little bit. And it was. It was just like, it all happened so fast. So I think it was a timing thing, and I just rolled with it, which I'm not a good roller. I'm very controlling.
Leo.
I'm very Leo. I like safety. I like comfort. I like repetition. I don't love to roll the dice too much. So this was a big kind of, leap of faith for me.
But isn't it funny then once you got your sea legs, as my dad would say about you, and just let go and did your thing, like that's when the magic starts happening too, right?
I guess I feel like we have to trust the system, right?
Yes.
Like trust the universe, trust God, whatever you believe in.
Right.
You just have to trust that it's gonna, that you're being put into the right kind of place at the right time. And listen, it was hairy. People did not want me to take over. People did not want Diane to leave. There was a lot of shittiness and a lot of total conspiracy theories about if you guys saw some of the stuff, and I had to try and tune that out. People were mostly welcoming, but there was a lot of, they were like, can a man do this? Why is Diane leaving? And there was a lot of conspiracy theories we could go on for hours about that, but it all worked out.
With our network just closing, I mean, I can't even get on some of the pages because there's so many wild conspiracy theories. There's a lot of ladies who's got our back though, which is amazing. Yeah. But change is hard for everybody. And then everybody starts thinking about what could happen. Some people are right and you want to be like, you're right. And then some people are so wildly wrong. You want to defend yourself.
It's so true.
And that's always hard. It's hard shoes to fill when you've got, because how long was Diane presenting on air as basically the main person?
28 years.
Wow.
28 years.
That's longer than most marriages.
Yeah, that's a legendary brand for HSN. It's a legendary brand in home shopping.
Yes.
She herself is known globally. She is a very strong personality, and you have to think about her also giving up her child, basically, that she kind of birthed and created. So there was a lot of stuff right around that. And I remember going to she threw a luncheon for me in New York in her gorgeous, ridiculous penthouse that was overlooking whatever. And she pulled me aside and she was dishing with me about stuff. But when we first got together and shot something, she was being very Diane and she was fine, but she scared the shit out of me. It was still during COVID, and we were shooting a promo in this gorgeous hotel and skyrise thing and overlooking New York. And I put my hand on her shoulder. She's like, "Don't touch me." And it was COVID, right? So it was I was like, okay. So
I don't know you like that.
No, and then we warmed up. Yes, it was like that. And then we warmed up, and she would call. Diane loves to talk, so you get on the phone with her, and I'd be on the phone with her for an hour and a half.
Amazing.
And she was amazing, and she was very. For someone, probably you have to chew your ego a little bit, to hand over the reins to somebody else.
Yeah.
She was happy that it was a man, by the way. That was a thing for her. She thought that if you had put a woman in this role, that the customer probably would not have, reacted the same way, because I feel like there's they would have compared the woman to Diane. And so I think she thought that was interesting. She was surprised by that. And it worked out. God bless it. It worked out. Touch wood. And it's still working. So far, so good. But
obviously,
it was hairy. It was hairy for a minute. It was nerve wracking, and
well, obviously it's doing well. I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And, I've heard through the grapevine that everybody's very happy.
That's the word on the street.
The word on this very small industry is that everybody's very happy.
Honestly, who else could have done it? Because you come with the gravitas, you come with the history, the personality, the cute.
I think both of you could have done it. Let's be really honest. I honestly think both of you could have done it. And I think you gotta want to do it, right? You gotta wanna.
Well,
I'm just an old hooker slinging jeans. It's the word on the street. That's basically what it boils down to, right? Like, I'm here selling my soul, and if you love it or you hate it. Like, and I'm sure a lot of people love and hate what I give, and
everybody loves it.
Try and have fun.
Becky and I always talk. It's either this or OnlyFans, Sam. So we are just holding on by a thread.
Ruled it out.
Yes.
I'm secretly curious about Feet Finder, because like, what is that? It sounds easy. Like, my feet are cute. Like, I feel like I could do it, right?
Don't rule it out. Never say never.
Sam, our backup plan.
Sometimes I'm in the bathtub and I have my feet up on the thing, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like that's like $25 right there, right?
See, we are soulmates because
that feels like
I'm going to be the madam of the feet
Absolutely.
scene. We've got a meat feet in the
I'll send you a picture.
We're one pedicure away from our $1 million payday.
Listen,
to know that.
And we are not too proud to make that our backup plan.
No,
if this doesn't go anywhere, she's got gorgeous feet. I've got messed up feet. We've got clientele anywhere in between.
Now we have a male foot too, so we really,
right?
You always have an open invitation to our backup plan on OnlyFans. I think you're supposed to say OF. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be the Heidi Fleiss of Feet Finder.
We've done worse for less. Right? We've done worse for less. Cheers, everyone.
So what can you tell us, or what do you want to share about HSN? Because, the industry is all a hub about HSN moving into the QVC space. What do you know about it? What can you tell us about it?
Everyone calm the F down.
Okay.
Like, calm down. Like, it's, I think it's very logical what's happening. QVC owns, they're the same company. They've been the same company for a long time. And, sadly, you have 47 years of this network being in Florida, and so many people that, live their lives around that network and work there. And the models are what's really killing me the most, because to me, they're such an extension of the brand.
Yes.
So like, and I know one or two of them might kind of come.
Good.
I just heard, but for me, like, they are as much a part of the brand as like we are, right?
Totally.
So that's really tough for me. But obviously, the first thing you think about is all the people losing their job locally, right? And you're like, that is tough. Devastating. And there are people that are coming, and I think that are like being able to like reapply and stuff like that. So what is apparently happening is QVC is very big, apparently very professional. It's a gigantic campus, and they're dedicating a portion of the studios to us.
Good.
So HSN will look and feel like HSN. There's about 10 hosts, I think, that are coming to Philadelphia that are actually moving. So basically, it's going to be, I hope it feels like business as usual at the beginning. I think there'll be like some, transitions and growing pains as we get over there. I heard the studios are a little smaller, so that's going to be weird because the studios at HSN are quite large. And but we'll see. I mean, apparently it's incredibly well run and incredibly professional, and hopefully we'll slide in. I start there in June. I think my June Today's special will be in Philadelphia. So I'm nervous because I'm not a very serious person. Like, I like to mic myself. I like to I was telling these guys, I show up sometimes like 30 seconds before my show starts, or like I'll be there, like Juliana will be coming off air and we'll be talking, and like she's going on air and I'll come up and she'll stand there for like 5 minutes while the show is on.
Yes.
And like, so we're very like, she'll be like, oh, I'm like, you need to go sell your clothes right now.
Hey, you earned it. You earned it, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of stuff, I'm worried that it's going to be like more buttoned up, and I hope that I can still be loose and fun and crazy, but it's going to be business as usual. I think we'll see what happens. I think it's a smart idea to keep everything under one roof. I think what they're planning on doing with like the future of streaming and television and TikTok and all this stuff is going to be smart. We'll still be there for the customer, but we'll be also in other places as well, which is great.
Smart.
That's amazing. Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see where it all goes.
Absolutely.
Yes, and people ask us, "Are you guys going?" No, Becky and I live in Minneapolis.
I just put that flipping pool in.
Yeah.
Oh no! Well, girl, you have to pay for it. Get your ass over there.
She sealed her fate. So So many women, literally, Sam will say, I learned how to dress from Sam. Like, I learned how to feel confident from Sam, because we talk about that too. It wasn't just about fashion. It was about this crazy cool community. The ladies were so nice, but then the ladies will also say, I learned how to be confident from you.
Think about Kimmy, our sweet friend Kimmy
yes,
from Florida.
Kimmy from Florida and Celia in California.
Who came to HSN. And remember all the delicious cookies that we used to get and during COVID, which were so delicious. Anyway, Celia, listen, I love what I do. I think you guys love what you do, even when it's exhausting, even when it's, you know, a lot. And even when you feel like a drained battery. I always refer to myself as like a battery, and I can tell you where my lines are on that battery, like your cell phone.
Yes.
What people probably don't know is, like, after you're on air for an extended amount of time, you need to like go away, not speak to anybody.
Yes.
Like, you need to like shut it down.
Yes.
It takes a while for us. Like, we come off air at like 1 a.m. and you're like spazzed out to like 2:30.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We give a lot. Right. And I always used to say this. I think we talked about this once. They used to say, like, in Hollywood, like when they used to shoot on celluloid and film, that the film kind of absorbs some of you.
Yeah.
Right? Have you heard this before?
Yes.
And it's not like some mystical thing, but they would say, like, you're leaving a bit of yourself, like, on that film, like those old Hollywood stars are leaving a bit of themselves on that celluloid. And we kind of leave a bit of ourselves, but we get it back. But so I think it's, I don't know where I'm going with this.
We get it back from the viewer.
Well, don't you feel like the viewer fed you?
Yeah.
Like, we talk about that. You can literally feel them through
the energy.
The camera, right?
And you can feel when people are responding and when they're not responding.
100%.
You can kind of pivot. You have to kind of pivot your juju for that as well. So listen, if the customer was not so invested, like, I was very lucky, and I think, Becky, you were very lucky. Aaron, you were certainly lucky, because they're very invested in Wake Up in Style. They were very invested in you with all the brands that you sold, and I think they were very invested in One World, and they were very invested in DG too. So I have people that sometimes know more than I do about these products. Right. They've been shopping them for 30 years. So we are very blessed that we have that person to talk to. And then you gotta want to excite the new person. So listen, I'm grateful. I was watching something where someone said it is a privilege, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Someone said it is a privilege to do what we do. And I was like, oh shit, it is a privilege to do what we do.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when I get emotional when I think about that. So to connect with somebody, whether it's through a screen or in person, or like to affect somebody or to let them hear you say something that like hits them, like that hit me.
Bring them joy.
That's what we do, that I think a lot of people don't realize. Yeah. So it's very moving to be able to make someone laugh when they're feeling like shit, or they don't feel good about themselves or their body. And then they put something on and they feel like, oh, it was true, right? Like what you said is true. And so I think that the random person who's watching doesn't understand that, but there are people that are really deeply affected by what we do. And that is an energy exchange that you can't bottle if you wanted to, or you tried to.
It's literally mystical. It's like magical. 100%. Yeah. One time, I think we didn't really understand the gravity of it. And a woman had called in, and I'm not going to bring the podcast down by any means. I actually think it was really joyful. She said, I got to tell you guys, my husband passed a few years ago.
Oh, I remember this.
I live in Montana alone.
Yeah.
And just hearing a familiar voice and hanging out with you has
comfort.
really gotten me through a lonely time. And I looked at Becky, first started bawling.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah. This voice? Like, we're bawling. And then you realize, but that same woman got me through COVID.
Yes.
Got me through the toddler stages of kids. Got me through, because you get to go on air and like forget about your life too, right? Do you ever feel like that?
God.
And we go play.
That's interesting. I don't think I pin that, but you're 100% correct. It is like, that's exactly what it is. You get to kind of put all your BS away and kind of like engage with people who like know you and get you. Like, you're talking to someone who gets you, whether it's the host or the models. And yes, that's very, I don't think I thought about it like that, but I think that's really critical to the sanity of what we do. Totally. Because however little sanity is left. And I want to say something, because you brought up something that I've forgotten about, because this is what's the most different thing about HSN. We don't do calls anymore. So the one thing that at Shop HQ, not for years, I have not taken a phone call, maybe once when I started.
Do you
at
miss
HSN.
it?
I miss the most. But the funny thing we used to talk about is everyone used to call in with like a bursitis or a backache or like neuropathy. So if you guys remember,
because the giveaways. They thought they'd win.
Phone calls, the giveaways. We didn't do any of this, but yes, it got to a point where people were calling in and like trying to one up each other. My dog got, jumped off of Mount Everest and was like, and my neuropathy, I can't move my right arm, and it became like
my gout is back.
Smile. But do you also remember like the hateful things? Like someone would call and be drunk and like be like, start going off about a host or about something.
Yes.
Oh. There was some crazy shit, but the calls were the absolute. I can't even believe it. I haven't thought about this in a long time, but the calls were the absolute best part.
They were,
from, all of us being
the
together
best
at Shop HU. I mean, the shit that people would say to us.
Wait,
they would go on for like 15 minutes. They'd be like, "Oh," and we're like, "We got to go, girl. We're trying to sell a dress here. You gotta dial it down."
Wait, our dearly beloved Connie Kunkel, rest in peace, you sweet queen.
Oh.
Okay, the most fun, the most wild, and she was so beloved. But remember, at the end of her career, it was you two on air, and I was waiting in the wings to go on with Kate, and somebody called in. And they were not kind to Connie.
No.
And it had
awful.
a visceral effect, though, on the control room. You, me, we were all like,
everybody's ready to box.
Let's go, lady. Let's go. Bring it. You don't mess with our dearly beloved Connie. You don't mess with her. But she was a hoot.
Connie was such a free bird and a free spirit. And
wasn't she the greatest?
That was awful. People, and I get some emails, kids, like I will tell you, someone got mad at me because I didn't shave, but it was like Christmas, the day after Christmas, and they asked me to come in, and my mother-in-law had like a back thing, and so like I literally like stopped everything.
Neuropathy.
Like 30 people, yes, and I came in and I hadn't shaved, like I was maybe a little bit more than this, and she's like, "How dare you come on air and rep? This is not your brand." And some of the emails, people are out of their minds.
I've never heard a negative thing about you, Sam. I don't even believe you.
No, and then she was like, "This is not your brand. This is so disrespectful that you didn't shave." And I wrote back and I was like, first of all, I write the first email back, where what I really would like to say, but then I have to like erase that email and then
gotta sleep on it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta sleep on
because
it.
I'm representing a brand and I can't speak the way that I would like to speak. I did to one person just say, "You must be having a really bad day that you feel like it's okay to like come out of your left field and come to talk to somebody you have no idea who this person is or what they're going through and write something like this." And then that broke down walls. And then that person, I went back and forth via email for like a week, like talking about this and that. So it was very funny, but
so you disarmed her. You charmed her.
Yeah,
I love it.
Listen,
that's right.
This is not for the faint of heart. What we do is not for the faint of heart.
True.
You're really putting yourself out there. And I think the best hosts and the best guests and the best brand ambassadors are the ones that reveal their heart and soul and like leave it all, in the studio floor. And that's why I think we all have careers, right?
Yeah.
And I hope you will all come to HSN QVC.
From your lips to God's ears. Listen,
Right?
we're open for business. It's that or OnlyFans. So please, people, save us.
Or both and.
Please save us. So I know we don't have a ton of time with you, but can we get some free advice for the ladies out there?
Let's talk fashion.
Becky and I have been talking a little bit about how do you feel the same way? Fashion had a massive evolution about 6 months, a year ago. And I think a lot of women, especially who shop with you and with us, are trying to figure out how that oversized pant works, how the boxy jacket works. Like, do you have any advice for them?
I mean, the easiest advice is, find a brand that you know and that you have faith in that is being inspired by those kind of trends, but is doing it for that brand's version. Like I think what we do really well at DG2 is we look at a lot of like fashion. I think people get annoyed. They're like, "Why do you always talk about designers?" I'm like, well, I talk about designers because that's what I've been doing for 30 years of my life.
And they inspire what we're doing, whether you like it or not.
We look at those brands, we look at the magazines, we look at the runways, we shop everything, and then we pick apart the good parts, but then we do it the DG2 way. So what I would really say to you is, if you love the wide leg trend and you're like, "That's really cool," you have to find a brand that has served you in the past that is interpreting the wide leg trend for your body, your age, your life, your reality, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we as a brand have been really good at doing. So we'll copy Veronica Beard and we'll copy Ula Johnson. And those are contemporary brands that are a little bit forward, but we kind of dial it back to the DG2 way. So that's kind of where I have come in and I'm like, take the pockets off. She doesn't like that. So what I would say to you is, the first thing you do is you look for clues, right? Like you fall in love with a trend, and then you look for clues. You're like, well, this is what this brand is doing at this price point. This is what this brand is doing at this price point. Where do I live in that kind of spectrum,
Sure.
right? What can I afford? What are they doing to kind of make it work for my body? Is there a brand that is, more for me and my speed that can capture that kind of moment? That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like we do really well as a brand at HSN. But that's where I'd start. And I also think like you have to, I always used to say, and that's in my book, like you got to go on a no-buy shopping spree. Nobody does this. It takes time and energy. But if you go and you try on all the expensive shit and all the designer shit and all the $250 jeans, find out what's good and bad about everything. Find out what all the fuss is about. Is it really worth $700 for that leather jacket? Like whatever. Explore, and then you find that same feeling at Zara and at H&M and at Mango and at Dillard's and at Macy's and stuff like that. So that's what I like to tell people, like figure out what you're vibing on and then go find it. And it takes work, and I know a lot of people don't like to do that. I also think we shop a lot online right now. Like if I have to enter a store, I'm mad about it.
How are you shopping now? Are you all online all the time?
I'm like mostly online because number one, I can't find sizes or colors or whatever. And it's also like, I can work at all hours of the day and night. So I can do it at 11 o'clock at night. I can do it at 8 in the morning.
Right.
So yes, I work a lot online right now. And, from like celebrity stuff, like if I have to pull stuff, that's a nightmare.
Are you styling for celebs right now too? On top of DT?
I do more TV people, and I do it few and far between. I still do like game shows and things.
What's Jada doing?
Jada's doing like a lot on TikTok and a lot of stuff. She's doing a lot of deals. She's doing something with Peroni right now and something with La Walker, which is like a little cookie brand. And so I did stuff with her for that.
Cute.
And it's funny because like we created her look over the last 20 years. So like when they're like sending us photos, like we want her to look like us. And like we did that. We created that. Right. So like that is amazing to be able to work with someone that long. But so
you've been working with Giada and everybody knows De Laurentiis for 20 years?
20 years.
That's amazing,
20 years,
Sam.
I think 19, 18 years.
Wow.
And she's like my sister. She's like family. And now her daughter is like going to prom and things like that.
You guys are like La Roche and Zendaya.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other version.
Mm-hmm, I mean, I wish. That would be fabulous if we were more that. We're more like jeans and t-shirts version of La Roche. We're more like, but yeah, listen, the more of what I'm doing now is more like TV bound. It's not like, and I do red carpets and stuff like that still, but that's a lot of work for not a lot of money. And it's a little bit thankless. I'll be honest with you guys. It's fun because it's like the ultimate factor of what you're doing, but it's also a gigantic pain in the ass and not worth it financially. So,
well, does everybody get that all that stuff has to get returned? If it's Lent,
returned.
Yeah.
Yes. And also what people don't know is like now, like 6 years ago, all the studios kind of got together and they decided that they weren't going to pay you like a day rate. They were going to pay like a per look. So let's say you get to dress someone for like the Emmys and they're paying you per look, but you work 7 days on that look, you get one fee. And furthermore, your assistant is not included in that.
What?
You pay them. Yeah. And sometimes the celebrity won't pay for the alterations. So that comes out of my fee. I just did a job where I paid for the alterations. So I pay my assistant, I pay for the alterations. And there's a big article in like the Hollywood Reporter where a bunch of big stylists came together and they really like told it like it is. I should send it to you guys. It's fascinating, but that's how it is now. And, the industry is kind of like fading here in LA. It's like they're opening a studio in Vegas, like they're going to open a big movie studio in Vegas. And so a lot of people are migrating to where the work is, whether it's Atlanta or maybe Vegas, but I think they're working on it. It's definitely an interesting, since COVID, everything is not the same.
Right.
Interesting.
Which hopefully gets better for everybody. I cannot believe the studios, just so everybody knows, and Sam, you correct me if I'm wrong, oftentimes when you're styling for somebody for a promotion, it's not that celebrity paying you, it's the studio who produces their work.
There's a press junket, there's the
so like
red
Netflix,
carpet.
like Hulu, like Hulu just, I just did a job for one of my clients who's on Handmaid's Tale. So Hulu, and here's what they do, and a lot of people don't know this, they'll give the celebrity like a set amount of money. They're like, this is what you have for your glam. So it's hair, makeup, and wardrobe. And they say, this is the amount of money you have. And your publicist divides it between those people. So if the hair and makeup people come in for 2 hours to do hair and makeup, sometimes they're making more or what I am making to work for 7 days.
Because you're asking for the samples, doing the pull, getting the options, the fittings.
Then we do returns. Then we go there the day of, and then we dress them, and then we do returns again because you have to return all the shit that they wore. So it is not a joke, and it's a lot of work. So the funny thing about like the red carpet, like it's fun, but there's a lot of hands that, you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes on that stuff.
Good PR for, I mean, I look at it probably as like your personal marketing or your personal PR kind of.
But like these days, like there's so many different values of that now. So like, is it what it used to be? Like, you know, it's fun. It is fun to dress someone for Vanity Fair or like, you know, that's fun. Of course it's fun.
Yes.
And it's fun to like, you know, go to when you get to go to the big brands and you get like, because you know what's funny, truly, even though we talk about how things are expensive or whatever, when you go to Versace and you pull a black dress at Versace and you put it on your client and it literally fits flawlessly and you have nothing to do, and they're like, let's go in this room and pull shoes and a bag, and you're like, oh my God, it's like a one-stop shop. I don't have to do anything. Like you go from room to room to room and you pick the jewelry and you pick the shoes. That is what, you know, the highest level stylists get to do. And they also still do a lot of stuff and struggle, but that is when it's fun. And when the clothes really are like unbelievably exquisite, and that's very exciting.
So there is a difference between designer and
I don't know if you can see I'm crying here right now because you just walked me through my dream.
It's fun. There is a difference. The fabrics are beautiful.
Yeah.
The fit is phenomenal. I mean, sometimes it's just basically like you have to work a little bit less hard to make that body look good because the clothes are really doing the right things. The fabric's right. The fit is like it does make a difference. I'll be honest with you.
It's an art form.
It is an art form. I don't believe you need to spend, you know, $8,000 on a Chanel bag, which by the way, like is garbage now. It's like if you buy a Chanel bag and you look at it, you're like, really?
Yeah.
Like the way that it is now, the way that it was 10 years ago. So no, I don't believe that all of that is important, but I do think you will see a difference when it fits you well and the fabric's right.
And I've always loved that about you too. You've always been way more focused on how a woman looks
and how they feel.
Yes. Than the trend, than the, you know, it's really about your body. And I mean, I remember you dressing some women that would come in, whether it was our models or whether it was guests that we had in us.
Remember
everybody felt so pretty.
The iconic Sam. Yes, the iconic Sam.
I'm like Harvey Weinstein. Like I'm home shopping.
We got to dig up that HR file, mister.
Tapping on the fabric.
That's the best.
Do that as much. I don't go over to the models and engage that much over there. It's like a little bit different. But that was a big part of it, like really getting into it, right? Like with everyone.
There's nobody else who's going to be doing that. So if the woman was saying, oh gosh, I haven't had a moment with Sam in a while, what do they need in their closet right now, right today to make their closet feel relevant? Like what would be their 3 or 4 key pieces?
My brain is so in denim right now. So the first thing I tell you is like the direction of denim is very much like the relaxed straight leg. Like it's really a lot about like the stovepipe and that kind of thing. But I don't think that really looks good on everyone. So I will call it the relaxed straight leg. You need to have a relaxed straight jean with a crop right now. Relaxed straight crop is probably the most important kind of look in denim right now. I think we're still seeing, like, you know what I brought back that I think has been very popular for us is like the jegging. Like we brought this jegging back and it's been, we sold like 30,000 pairs of this jegging like in the last like 10 days.
Wait, Sam, can I interrupt real quick? I'm so sorry. And because I've been meaning to ask you this. Rag & Bone is doing the $300-$400 denim sweatpants. And I'm like, Sam started that.
We did that.
Sam started that.
The printed one?
Yes.
We did that. Becky, you inherited those printed.
The trompe l'oeil.
Like, knit jeans.
I got it on about the 30th reorder though.
But now Rag & Bone is saying, I'll do $300 and people are buying them insane. Yeah. You started that.
They did look cute, but yes, I remember that, and I saw them on like Revolve or something. I was like, "Are you effing kidding me right now?" And I was laughing. So yes, you know, listen, things come and go, and I'll be like kind of the moment, but like so much of like I feel like what I do now is so like denim. So my brain is there. I'm still about a matched denim situation, a denim on denim. I'm still about that right now.
Always.
And I hate pastels, but you know what's really important right now is like a mid-level pastel, like a sky blue and like a beautiful like mid-sky pink, and like we have this color called mango that's just beautiful. So mid-level pastels right now, you cannot beat that. We've been selling red and green like crazy.
Yes.
Green is really, really important right now. Like the green that's kind of behind me, like over there, that's really a big color right now. But for me, I hate pastels because it always just reminds me of like dated 80s stuff, but it's very, very big right now. And I think that's something you kind of want to have. But I like the mid-level pastel because I feel like it's wearable and it's not of the moment. You'll wear it again and again.
Yeah,
what shoe do you like with the straight crop?
That's a good question. I always like a heel, so I'm the worst person to ask about that. You know what I do like is I like a kitten heel with a crop jean. I've been very into like kitten heel crop jeans. So I'm not a sneaker person. They force me to use sneakers and I hate them. I love them because I know it's reality. But I love a heel. I love to torture my clients with heels. The higher, the better. And I know that's not reality. So I have accepted.
It's the reality I want to live in.
I've accepted a kitten heel. So I'm about a kitten and a crop. I'm also about a loafer and a crop or a ballet flat and a crop. I think that's really cute.
A slingback ballet flat right now, I think is great with a crop. So a lot of women have said to us over and over again, what do you miss most? One World. We miss One World.
Yeah.
What does DG2 have that you think your One World girl would love to get into? Like if they haven't made the jump yet to HSN or if they haven't made the jump yet to DG2, now is the time. And I think you have a lot of things that the One World girl would love.
We have beautiful prints. So our prints are not as like One World was very much about layering multiple prints. And we do that in a way, but all of our prints are also hand drawn and there's not a lot of brands that do that.
Really?
And so I drive them absolutely bonkers about that. So
good for you.
The prints are, I would say like 90% of our prints are done by hand, which is not normal these days. I think, they flip through a book, they pick a couple prints and whatever. So I think our prints are very beautiful. They're very tasteful. I think our denim's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that we really care about this brand. We also listen to the customer the way that we used to listen to them at One World. So if One World wanted something, like the customer wanted something, we really do that. So I think what you will get is you'll still get the same lessons and explanations that you got from me before. You will learn a lot about denim and you'll probably go back to denim that maybe you haven't worn jeans in a while. You'll go back to wearing jeans because we really make something for everyone. I think we are really, I say this on camera and I really stand by this. We design 12 collections a year. So every month we have a new collection, which is unheard of, right?
I didn't know that either. That's a lot of work.
So the only thing that doesn't change every month is the colors kind of go like bleed into the next month, but we'll add new ones. But mostly they are new every month. So 12 times a year. And I'll tell you the real truth about this. That means things go on sale faster. So if you watch something in February, by the end of March, you could have bought that February piece that you fell in love with on sale. So we roll through stuff really quick and we sell a lot very quickly and it goes very quick. But so I think what you will like is we don't often repeat anything. So it's always new.
That's awesome.
Every month there's something new. That's really exciting to learn and talk about. The fabrics are beautiful and the denim, we now make so many varieties of denim fabrics that I feel like even if you are averse to denim, you will find a denim that you will absolutely fall in love with. So I do very much believe in what we are doing. The team of people that are designing for DG2 we're designing with Diane for the last 10 years. So they really know her DNA, but we've really taken the brand forward. It's definitely evolved and changed a lot.
And you have sizes for everybody too, because that's the other thing people are missing. They don't always have sizes for everybody. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Some stuff is double extra small to 3X. Most of it's extra small to 3X.
That's awesome.
Sometimes we do a 4X. We haven't done it in a while, but yeah, we have good sizes and we have a lot of variety of age in customer. Our customers really kind of span the age, very similar to One World, but the vibe is obviously different. Everything is based on denim, based around denim
and separate.
But no better time. I mean,
I miss and I miss dresses. I miss the One World dresses. Yeah. We do dresses, but I think we just did a dress that was excellent, but I don't think they're doing dresses in our brand as universally easy and flattering as we used to do in One World. You could buy a One World dress and it would just work.
You remember the scarf dress? Was that your inspiration?
Yes.
I haven't seen a dress fly out of the building.
Sam, do you remember sitting outside in Fort Lauderdale, Miami on one of our remote shows, hot sun. I had a 3rd degree burn on the back of me standing in that scarf dress. And I don't even think we needed to speak. I don't think we needed to talk about it. It didn't matter. We just walked out, smiled at each other.
Sold.
Becky was a part of it as well. And people couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
People could not get enough of it.
The dresses worked. They really worked. Yeah. And I remember you guys jumping. Remember you jumped in the pool? Those shows were beautiful. Those shows were actually really beautiful. Like, they were outside, even though it was hot as blazes. And I was always wearing black, like I was going to a funeral in Florida. It would be like 90 degrees, and I was like, let me just put some more black on. Like, can I get a shroud? What are those things called that like Melania was just wearing the Pope thing, like the little mantilla?
Yes.
Can I have a lace black mantilla to hear?
Sam, as we did say what we identified with, ants on a log, pears, apples, you said you did identify as a meatball. So.
I did. I still identify as a meatball. I haven't been skinny since 2019.
Stop it.
You look fantastic.
Amazing.
I had some moments in 2020 that I was skinny. 2021, I craved, and then since 2021, it's all been downhill. I'm like a Gordo.
You look amazing.
What's that restaurant that has the meatball that's this big? Yeah. Meatball.
Isn't it?
Did you eat your way through Japan? On your last...
Japan, we walked like 22,000 steps a day, so you can eat whatever the F you want in Japan. And the food is so clean and ridiculous, and everything is like, you can eat cheaply in Japan, and there's not a bad meal, like no matter where you eat. And by the way, I need extra points for getting the word mantilla in during the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
That's like 1,000 point, like where now you have to try and use it in a sentence later today.
You got Jane Lynch and mantilla all in one show, Mister. All in one show.
Very important podcast here.
So we promised we would only keep you for an hour. We could talk with you forever. Now we're going to force you to come back on the podcast at least once a quarter, please. What else are you? A
pedicure and be barefoot on your podcast.
Hey, listen. We're not.
This whole thing is just an audition tape.
There is no shame in our footwork game, mister. What else are you doing besides HSN and DG2 right now that you want everybody to know about?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Trying to not be old. I'll tell you that I started getting Botox when I was 36. I did not need it, and now that I'm 50 something years old and I go to get Botox, I'm immune to Botox. I've developed an immunity. No. It's like a bad horror movie for aging. So
that can happen.
This is my thing. Like I only
let me see. Scrunch it up.
Well, look. I don't know.
No, you look great, Sam.
So I can't. So I don't like that. So anyway, so now I was going to get Botox, and the guy's like, you have to take a year off. I was like, are you kidding me? Absolutely not. He's like, so I went back 3 months later, made him do it again. I was like, fill it up, like jack me up, like, give it to me.
Freeze it, baby. Freeze it.
He had meetings with his cohorts, and he's like, listen, you've got to wait a year. And so this is all that I care about right now is the fact that I can't have Botox in my forehead. That's what I'm doing right now. I am 50. I think I'm 51. I don't even know how old I am. I kind of dialed it. I stopped talking about my age 10 years ago.
Yes.
But no, in all fairness, I'm trying to find time to travel more because I used to travel so much, and I feel like ever since I've been taking this job, I'm afraid to leave. So I was just in Japan for 12 days, which was incredible and very much needed. And so I want to go to Mexico City, which is very hot right now, all the art and food and scene in there. And I want to take a trip that is not me going to Cabo for 5 days because it's 2 hours away, which is what I've been doing. So I want to travel more. I'm still styling. I kind of pulled back from doing the TV stuff. I did Access Hollywood for 2 years, and I was burnt out on. I did 50 some episodes of it. And I was like, I gotta chill. So I've been focusing a lot on DG2, and the transition to QVC is interesting. I'm a little nervous about a new thing and new people, and I hope you all will be in the hallways one day soon, and I'll be able to see you, and we can have dinner and drinks. And
yes, love it. It'd be amazing.
And is Mr. Incredible still with us?
Mr. Incredible is still with us, and he has a friend now because we found a kitten rescued that was in the bookshelves of my partner's school, living in the English classroom, and he was this big. He was a pound, and he was living in the English classroom in a bookshelf, and apparently got in there over the weekend or whatever. They found him, so we rescued him. So now Oliver, who's now big, and we have a second cat. In lieu of children, and I'm going to tell you my parting words. Mm-hmm. I just did a game show with families with children, and it was birth control. And I never thought that I could raise children, and I think I would be a really good dad.
You would.
These kids were punching each other in the corner of the wardrobe room. They cornered the little sister, and they were beating the shit out of her, and I was like, what is going on here? And they have the chips. They walked in, and then it was the floor of a baseball game with food and chips and coloring and I was like,
had they never been out in public before?
I don't know, but listen, I want to give kudos to all of you moms out there because
Sam, why do you think I worked when the kids were toddlers? It was my break.
Exactly.
That was my break from all of that.
I needed like a Valium and I'm like, I'll live with the cats. The cats are just enough.
Well, Mr. Incredible, I really like his personality. He's got a lot of confidence.
He's a rock star.
So girls, for all of you who loved following Sam and Becky and One World, show DG2 that same love.
Yes.
Go find your pieces with DG2 because you got the same guy behind the scenes.
Yes.
There's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. And you do a great job of educating people. So I feel like people make better choices because they know better when they listen to you.
Plus you're a hoot. You're fun.
And you're a lot of fun.
I'm definitely losing my mind in my old age and like very loose.
We like that even better
than we used to be. So like the things that come out of my mouth on television after like 7 p.m. when I've been on air for a long time, it's all up for grabs.
You've been warned, ladies.
You know what I hear when you say that? There's a spot for 2 more crazy ladies.
Oh, yes.
That's what I hear.
Bring it on. I would love that.
We adore you, Sam. My favorite part of my career in home shopping has been the people I have met and the amazing people that I get to be friends with and laugh with. And you are in the top of that class. So thank you so much for your friendship and your time today.
Listen. You guys are my favorite people on earth. And so everyone knows we all still talk to each other behind the scenes on social media.
Yes.
And whether it's gossip or whether it's like we need updates and we need to know what's going on, we are all still this same family. And that in itself is a blessing. And I feel like our viewers are part of that family too. So listen, I could do this for 5 more hours with a bottle of wine and not bat an eyelash. So thank you for having me. And I'm so excited you guys are doing this because you're kind of made for this. And so, your viewers are also very lucky that you guys are bringing this out of the studio and into the white room.
Hey, we get a little behind the scenes.
That's right.
Yeah.
We adore you.
We are so happy you're here, Sam. We adore you. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you, friends. Make sure you give Sam a follow and stay tuned to everything he's doing with DG2 and HSN. Love you, fun. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
You guys, don't forget, Isomers is now partnering with So Happy You're Here podcast to give you an exclusive 20% off your order. You go to isomers.ca. You'll get 20% off your order. If you're at $100 or more, they'll ship it to you for free directly to your house. It's an exclusive savings just for all of you listening. If you haven't been introduced to Isomers before, they are the best cosmetic chemists in the world. Scientifically proven results for over 30 years. If you don't know where to start, there's an easy quiz to take at isomers.ca. Or if you just want to go for their icons, their hyaluronic acid, their fast lift eye serum, their copper P, it's all available and it's exclusively for you with Happy20 to get that 20% off your order. Okay, a quick reminder, you guys, our first supporter of our podcast, it's Daily Fascia. Daily Fascia offers the most practical, easy to follow techniques to help you unlock your body's hidden potential. It's for freedom, it's for flow, it's for relief. If you're struggling with recurring injuries, stiffness, or you just want to move more freely, Daily Fascia has got you covered. You're going to use the code HAPPY50 to get 50% off your first course at dailyfascia.com. We have all the information for her different coursework, her YouTube channel, all listed and tagged below. You guys, do us a huge favor, please. Will you like this podcast, share it, or subscribe? Because that helps, right, Bex?
It will help us a ton.
It will. And I don't know if we've helped you, but if you don't mind helping us, that'd be great.
Fair's fair.
Love you.